Hey there, I'm Erica,
And I'm Justin.
and we are from Real Simple Good. We're hopping on here today to share a little bit more with you guys. We know that you've seen us in our feed in pictures, occasionally hopping on to share how to make a recipe, and maybe some other things, but we don't get on camera very often, probably because we're more comfortable on the other side of the camera, but we're gonna start.
What?
You don't like her
It's
scratching
fine.
in the background?
Keep going. Sadie has joined us. She's just off camera, so that's what's going on there.
It's not distracting at all. But anyway, we're going to start hopping on the camera a little bit more regularly, and we're excited to do so.
Definitely, we wanted to kind of start today just sharing a little bit of the story behind how we started our blog and kind of how we got to where we are today. So, Sadie. We started Real Simple Good about 4 years ago, actually, in 2015. And we started it kind of as a side gig. We were both working in corporate accounting jobs at the time. And we were really looking for a change. I had always wanted to do my own thing and do my own business. And Erica was actually looking to get out as well. And when we started dating, we just started trying to find something that could hopefully... Sorry, Sadie's cracking me up. That could hopefully be an outlet and be something we liked and that we were still good at. But just get out of our corporate jobs was our ultimate goal. Go ahead.
Your turn. So we were interested in getting out of kind of like the corporate grind setting. We were both kind of tired of it and just felt really detached from what we were doing on a daily basis. And we wanted to feel like we were actually helping people. And in our accounting jobs, we were always looking back at historical information and rarely kind of like planning or thinking about the future. And I think that was something that we both were just kind of over. And we wanted to be more like in the now and thinking of the future and like working towards things and helping people and just being more attached to our daily jobs and our life being in like a little bit better alignment, I think.
I think that's true, but I don't think I got to the point of thinking I wanted to help people until almost way down the road, personally.
You just wanted to get out of it.
For me, it was more selfish. I wanted to do something I cared about, I guess, and do something that I owned and not work for someone else and always be like searching for promotions and grinding it out for other people. I wanted all of my hard work to go towards something that I or we had built.
Yeah, so it's like all yours at the end of the day.
Yeah, I had always kind of wanted that. Like my dad had always worked for himself. I always saw that. And I always had crazy business ideas or something of like, oh, I could start this or do that. But ultimately, I never did. And like, finally, this was something that I think was like easy to start on the side with like no investment really, that I could just work on. And then I think from there it like snowballed to all these other things, which started like learning about how to do a website and all this cooking, and for you it was the photography and all these new challenges that ultimately like led us to where we are today. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think for me, like, I had been like for like the couple of years before we started dating trying to like figure out my exit plan from my corporate career life.
Yeah.
And for me, like the struggle was always it feeling impractical, mostly because I like had my own limiting beliefs about like having MS and like I had this stable, like, well-paying career, and, like, was it stupid to leave that behind for, like, the complete unknown?
Yeah, and insurance. And
yeah, like, just, like, the logistics of it, like, finding your own private insurance, and then like just the cost of that being higher, and it can get overwhelming when you like think of what all the different barriers. And so like for me, I think it took like having like that support of like us doing it together and being like, we're gonna do this, like we're gonna figure it out and we're gonna make it work somehow, some way. And knowing that like that we were doing it together, I think gave me like the confidence to like go for it.
Yeah, I agree. I never would have done it without like you saying like, well, I never would have had the confidence. I think like you inspired my confidence, like to just be like, hey, we'll figure it out, and like just having you behind me and knowing that like no matter what happened, like we'd always have us, and like it would go, whether it's going back to our corporate jobs or finding a different job or whatever, like we had a backup plan.
Totally.
But also like we're able to throw ourselves into trying this food blog thing because like we just said screw it, you know, we can do it, and had some like, I think just the confidence was big for me because I always had the thought behind it before to do something, but I lacked the confidence or like the just the ability to take that initial risk.
Yeah.
Because that was like the hardest step, and initially anyway, that was the hardest thing.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Like, I think just like making the decision and kind of like drawing a line in the sand and being like, I'm stepping over the line. I'm gonna do it. And actually doing it is probably the hardest part, like you said initially. And then of course like all these other challenges come your way. But like, I don't know, you're just like in a different mental space, I think, because it's like sink or swim time. So it's like, there isn't really an option. You have to figure it out. Like, you just have to.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a huge struggle at first, for sure. I guess the background is we quit our jobs ultimately after starting the blog, and then we moved from Portland to Bend, Oregon. So we kind of sold both of our houses. We had like a buffer of money that we knew we could work on the blog for a while to monetize it. So we had a little safety net, but also we started working on it full time, and we kind of thought, hey, if we were working on this part time and it's kind of growing and being successful, the more we work on it, it's just gonna blow up for sure. I don't think we thought it would necessarily blow up, but we definitely had high hopes with like how quickly we could grow it, seeing what growth we had seen just kind of starting it on the side. But it's always continued to kind of grow, but it was definitely a lot slower and harder than we thought. And I think the biggest struggle for me was like I wanted it to happen in a couple months, you know, or like we're working on this full time and it should just go boom, boom, boom. And if we're working hard, we should see the payoff like fairly quickly.
Right. As
opposed to, oh, it's going to take a year or longer to actually see that payoff.
Well, I mean, like you said, we had a little bit of a safety net because we had 2 properties in Portland that we sold. And so, yeah, we had like this safety net, but when you're like burning through your safety net on a monthly basis, it's definitely like a little stressful.
Well, and we went from saving and having pretty good salaries.
Yeah.
You know, we went from 2 opposite spectrums. We went from saving money every month, basically, to whittling down our savings every month and watching that continue to go and having literally no income to offset it at that time.
Yeah.
For over a year.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely nerve-wracking to watch your cushion or your safety net dwindle without like a lot of like positive reinforcement that it's gonna like bottom out and go the other direction again.
But what was your biggest struggle that first year?
I think it was just like the uncertainty and not like having that tangible, like, you're on to something feeling.
Yeah.
Like, not being like, this is gonna work 100% sure.
Yeah, that was definitely hard. I think for me, I think it was a combination of things, but it was like the overwhelm of there are so many things you could be doing and not necessarily knowing which to focus on.
Yeah,
because
like,
it was
what
also
should I be
it was
doing?
also new for us. We were like, you're watching all these videos or you're reading all these things of like, oh, what you could do here or there, and tactics, and there are like so many little things behind the scenes that we could always be working on. So like the overwhelm, and then creating our own structure was difficult at first, because we went from corporate jobs where you're going into an office and you kind of know what your tasks are, they're all defined, and we worked in accounting, so we had this structure and all that. But what's so funny?
I was just thinking that one of the biggest struggles was like to go with like the structure and the routine. This is silly, but like showering and brushing my teeth at a normal time.
Yeah.
Like, that's maybe
You
still
didn't
a
have
struggle.
the structure. You didn't have the structure or you didn't have the habits behind it of like, you get up, shower, go,
Yeah.
like this, boom, boom, boom. But we had to define our own structure.
Right.
And then, like you said, there was all of that combined with like, we don't know if what we're doing is working. And like, that was a huge struggle, because like I would find days where I'm just like, what do I need to do, and like, how will I ever know if it's working? And yeah, that was a huge struggle for me, because like I had to take like time, not time off, but I had to like go like reset quite a bit, because I was like crying because I didn't know what.
Because it was like so frustrating.
Yeah, it was just such a frustration point for me that like I didn't know, should we be looking for other jobs, or like should we just continue on? Like there was just so much uncertainty around it. I think I just didn't know what to do at times, and then like that just led to this like frustration and overwhelm, and I needed like a couple hours sometimes to just like process all those emotions and frustrations, and just like kind of reset and just say like, okay, we're gonna figure it out. Pick one thing to work on. What's your next little task to do, or what's the next project we can work on that we think might work or might move the needle, and just deal with that. It might not work, and it might, and like figuring that out was really tough though.
Yeah. I think that's a struggle with like any new business though, because likely you're starting something you're not like necessarily an expert at yet. And even if you are an expert at like what you're doing, how to make that a successful business is not necessarily like something people know how to do from day one. So I feel like it's a lot of like, taking the pasta, throwing it against the wall and seeing what sticks. So you're like doing all these things because you don't know what works and what doesn't work. So you have to do them all to find out what works and doesn't work. And that's exhausting.
Yeah, you just have to kind of do and adjust,
Yeah, so much trial and error.
For quite a while.
Yeah.
Until you figure out some pieces of it. But I think you're constantly trying to figure that out if you're running your own business, because there's something you have to work on no matter what. Like
when you're always trying to grow it to the next level, or
So speaking of, this is a new, kind of a new chapter for us, because we're trying to create new content like this, and also we want to share a lot of these experiences that we've had with you guys, with the hope of that us opening up and sharing our challenges will help you help you live better and figure out some tactics and habits and some things that we've learned from over the years, and we're still learning and continue to learn and learn together on some of these topics. So this is our real simple good life, and we're trying to live here, and we're hoping to share that with you all, and we hope you all enjoy it. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.